Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Sideline Talk. Today, we are joining myself and our other co-host, Sam, is guest Taylor Williamson today. Taylor, I'm going to say hello and introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, fellas. Nice to chat footy. Taylor Williams, 31, and here to talk. Massive Arsenal fan, but here to talk about my other club as well today, Orlando City in Major League Soccer. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Love all that. And how are you today, Sam? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. I'm looking forward to this. It'd be nice to actually get off the topic of, Arsenal. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah. Well, maybe for a little bit, yeah.
So
For those of you who don't know, Taylor is a close personal friend of mine. Has been for probably about 20 odd years. And as well as being a massive Arsenal fan, he's also he probably supports about 6 clubs. His main passion is Orlando City in the MLS. So we thought it'd be a good idea to get him on and maybe talk about a different league for once and get some insight into the American game. Evening G there, we just see her pop up in the chat. Thanks for tuning in. So Taylor, first of all, obviously big Premier League lover and Arsenal. How did you end up getting into the MLS game?
Well, this is it, and like I said in our WhatsApps over the years, and that it's like, Taylor, here he is again. More clubs inside the woods than that, but no, seriously, like, obviously you know me, I'm a big Arsenal fan from birth. Used to have a season ticket with my dad, but yeah, I mean, you don't need me to come in here tonight and tell you kind of the way Arsenal's gone over the last 10 years, and it's not for me. It's kind of not being a fickle fan. It like 5 years ago, it's got a lot worse since, hasn't it? But 5 years ago, I was just so kind of disillusioned with Arsenal and that I just fancied following something on the side. Never to replace Arsenal, nothing will. But I found Major League Soccer. I mean, me and my family have always gone over to the States on holiday. We used to have a holiday home in Florida. So we knew Orlando really well, and when they joined Major League Soccer in 2015, I just thought, like, I'm going to research this club, find out a bit more. When I went over there on holiday, went to a few games myself, but man, I just got addicted to it, and it's just grown and grown ever since. We created our own Twitter account, and it kind of got born from a love of holidaying over there, really.
Yeah, because you run your own UK fan account. Are you like the official ambassador for the UK? Is that right? I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, well, that blew my mind. I mean, I just started the account like most people do nowadays. Just to showcase your passion of football. To chat about the game you love. I started an account in 2015 on Twitter, and then like people from the States, kept seeing that we were watching the games, and it just kept snowballing and growing from there. And a year into doing it. And what helped me get like addicted and kind of obsessed with doing it was I reached out to the club, and the club were really good with me. And this is one of the reasons I love Major League Soccer. It's kind of nothing like English football. Like, there's access to the players and the clubs, and it's really, if you put stuff out there, the players will like it, retweet it. That's the stuff I love. So we reached out to the club, and they had a system in place where you could formally become affiliated with the club. The only thing they asked was that you kind of had like a bit of a members pack, that you had a website and a few like bits like that. So we did that, and from there it's just got bigger and bigger. We're almost hit 4K on Twitter, which has been no lack of trying over the last 5 years. But we're definitely out of it, and we're also doing a few bits on YouTube now too. So it's really good, man.
Yeah, I've just got your little YouTube channel in the background there, just trying to plug you a little bit. If everyone wants to check it out, it's Orlando City. Just search Orlando City UK in YouTube and it'll pop up. That's good to see you going strong, mate. 4K is not to be sniffed at. We'll get there maybe one day eventually. Cheers for those tuning in as well. I see Luke's popping up. Hello. We've had Charlotte Strong TV as well. I think Danny's tuned in. So hello to all of you lovely lot. So next question. So obviously the MLS game is quite a lot different from, say, the English Premier League, as you've already pointed out, in terms of access to the club and things like that.
Yeah.
How do you find the actual, in terms of like the quality of the game and the matches?
Yeah.
Do
Do you know what? I was really looking forward to answering this question, but first,
it's probably a question everyone asks, but
it's the big one.
Yeah.
It is the big one. Like, I'm going to flip it on you guys. I'm going to turn interviewer here because, like, any thoughts, if at all? What do you guys, Sam, Lee? What do you think of Major League Soccer when you see it, you know, in the papers or online? Like, what's your first thought about the American game?
I think when I see it, it's normally on, you know, like a late broadcast on like television or something like that, or maybe like a YouTube clip or something like that. And it's, you know, it's just from how I see it, it's like a big song and dance. You know, the audiences are there, like the crowds, but it's not really crowded, like an audience. They're all involved. You know, like I can sum it up. My first interaction with like the Major League Soccer is, obviously I don't watch it. Is, you know, there was a viral clip of that fan singing "Fight and Win."
Yeah. I love their chant.
And it was all about that. Obviously, I've been an Arsenal fan. I followed it when Thierry Henry went over there and stuff like that to the Red Bull. I think but honestly, I'm quite naive to it. I don't know that much about it, to be honest with you. I know it's obviously up. It's really taken off over the last couple of years, especially now with Beckham getting involved, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Lee, what about you, mate? Any major...
So my knowledge has always been a bit lacking when it comes to MLS football. I don't have anything against it. I imagine the games are quite exciting. I find the way it's laid out a little bit strange because obviously you have like the Eastern Conference, the Western Conference.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different there. And obviously, I'm sure we'll touch on Inter Miami a bit later. But obviously the way, I think it's a bit strange the way some teams can sort of buy their way into a league as such.
Yeah.
It's a bit different. You think of some of the old rules, things like, I think they used to do penalties where you could run it from the halfway line. Yeah. Imagine if that was in like the Premier League, that'd be insane. The excitement would be superb.
Yeah.
Things like that. I don't know. Maybe it's things like that in the past that have made it. Some people view it as a bit of a joke. But I actually think it's come on. The standard's getting better. The standard is getting better. For example, if you look at some of the players, they when it's pre-season or mid-off season in MLS, they come over to the Premier League. Like back in the day, you had, is it Donovan? Went to Everton.
Yeah.
You've had, or is it players like that? Daryl Dike this year, did he come over to Barnsley? He had a storming season, didn't he? So, I mean, as he's an Orlando player, I'm sure you want to talk about him a little bit. Is he staying?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to do that bit just because, you know, like kind of what we've done at Orlando City UK over the last 5 years. You know, we're promoting the league at every opportunity, and like let's get into it. So obviously it is different. You know, Eastern Conference, Western Conference, no promotion, relegation. They're the things that kind of all English supporters, you know, like look at straight away. Now, let's make no bones about it. It is different. It's football, it's soccer, but it is different. No promotion, relegation. Every side buys into the league. It started off as just about like 6 to 8 sides, and now there's 22. So it's grown and grown every year. And basically, all these clubs in all these famous American cities, they've got billionaire owners that, you know, put together, you know, a proposal to get into the league. So you buy your way in. Speaking of Beckham, I know we'll come on to him. He's our rival at Orlando. But speaking of Beckham, I've got nothing against him. I've got the England shirt on, Euro fever and what have you. But I mean, MLS really went to the next level when Bex went over there with the LA Galaxy. Did great things for the game, not only on the pitch, winning MLS Cup, stuff like that, but he really put MLS on the map. I mean, there's another rule that's, you know, unfamiliar to Premier League Championship fans. There's a free designated player rule over there.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, that's the Beckham rule. So basically, one thing I really like about MLS is that you can have a different side win it every year. There's parity. So it's not really like your Premier League where you've got your big six and like a Leicester happens once in a blue moon. In MLS, essentially, all 22 teams are pretty much, there's some stronger than others, of course there are, because it depends how smart your front office is buying players, but essentially everyone has the same money to spend each year. and someone different can win it, which is super exciting. So that's one thing we like about it. I know a name you two will know, Nani. I used to hate him as an Arsenal supporter.
Yeah.
Absolutely hated him. I've gone 360 now because he's been in Orlando 3 years. And I mean, a lot of older players have gone to MLS. Stevie G, Lampard, not really cut it. But Nani's gone over there and he's absolutely bossed it since day one. So he's one of our designated players. And yeah, it's different.
You got Pato now as well, ain't you?
Yeah, Alexandre Pato, everyone will remember him from FM and AC Milan years ago. He signed for Orlando in the off season. He got injured in our first game though, so he's only really played in that game, and we have not seen him since. But that's the thing. I love seeing college talent because the league is a mix of people out of college, these Premier League old boys, other stars. We've had Kaká, Julio Baptista, Orlando before, So seeing all these guys mix it together, it makes it an exciting league.
I was going to quickly touch on. I was going to ask you a question because you might be able to explain it better. Can you explain like the term franchise?
Yeah,
like what that means. Yeah,
so you'll see that that word bandied about a lot with Major League Soccer. Essentially, every team they refer to as a franchise, and it kind of goes back to what I was speaking about how these teams create projects to get into the league. So they're businesses essentially. We saw it a little, a couple of weeks ago with the Super League and stuff. But they're businesses just like the Premier League clubs are, but they're referred to as franchises. Yeah.
That's really interesting. So they're not. So they wouldn't with like an American fans and stuff like that. They wouldn't use the terminology like a football club. They would say, "I support."
Well, yeah, it was interesting, like they're obviously known as franchises, a word used, but it's funny, because all the clubs in MLS, they either have SC as their name, Orlando City SC Soccer Club, or most of them have football, and we see it all the time. It's called Major League Soccer, and they're like, the game's called soccer, we're American, and half their team football, so that weren't a good look for the league, but yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I'm just going to try and get up the league table, and you can touch on that. Bear me 2 seconds, guys, if you guys want to go ahead of me.
Yeah.
I'm just going to see if I can bring this up now.
So yeah, old Daryl Dyke obviously came to Barnsley, didn't he, on loan? Smashed it.
Yeah.
I know Barnsley fans loved him. He done very well. What's his future like? He's only 20 years old. He's been linked with Premier League moves. Do you think he'll be going?
Yeah, so when Daryl Dike, so he's an Orlando City player, he's back with us at the moment. When he joined Barnsley on deadline day, so the English deadline day, I couldn't believe it because we never see our players come over into England that regularly. But he's just finished his loan spell. He got 9 goals in the Championship. So in terms of quality and younger players, which is something that's often thrown at MLS, where's the quality? I mean, he came over and translated his MLS form to the Championship, which, as we all know, is a very tough physical league. So
yeah, he's a big old boy, and he's a big lad, strong,
massive. Yeah, he's the second strongest player on FIFA. So he's a big lad, and he's. I think he'd give Beckham a run for his money on the weights.
That's amazing.
So yeah, you've obviously got the league table up there, the top 6. Orlando's sitting there with a game in hand.
Yeah.
If they win that, they're 2 points off the top. How ambitious are you guys feeling? So obviously, when you guys, where do you have to finish? Is it to get in the playoffs?
Yeah. So basically, at the moment, the top 7 get playoffs in the Eastern Conference, which Sam's got on screen there. So we've got a game in hand. A quick history of Orlando City and MLS. We're only 6 seasons old, 5.5 seasons old. And, we didn't make playoffs in those first 5 years until Oscar Pereira came in. And he's our head coach now. And he's just completely changed everything around. And this season, we only lost our first game last weekend, 7 games in. So we've been unbeaten in the first 6. Red Bulls beat us, Thierry Henry's old club, at the weekend. So we're looking good. And that was without Pato, who's been injured. Without DK, was smashing it for Barnsley. So we've been keeping a lot of clean sheets. So we put DK's goals back in, and I think anyone
confident.
Be confident. Yeah, I'm very confident at the moment.
Who are your main rivals in the league?
We got two. Obviously, everyone will know about Beckham's Marbu. Sky Sports seem to love and show every week, even though they're But for me, my main rival is Atlanta United. So they're the team that Miggy Almiron signed to Newcastle from. They've got a massive stadium. It's so impressive. They've won MLS Cup. They come into the league after us. They're a new team. So there's a lot of ill feeling there. But yeah, definitely those guys. We've had a few tussles with their fans on social media over the years.
Yeah, I bet. I don't know where Sam's gone. He's just dropped out for a second, I think. Bit awkward. See if he sent a message. 1 second. Oh, he's back.
Sorry, boys. I'm still
panicking a bit there. We lost you.
Back in the game.
I know. Right.
So, obviously, being an English fan, being from England yourself, I know you obviously spent a bit of time in Canada, which is good, and you've been over to Orlando itself, been to some games, you've met players, you met Kaká, you know, one of the best players who's probably ever been. Arguably, you know, Ballon d'Or winner, Champions League winner, all of that. That must have been some experience meeting him. What I wanted to ask is, how the hell do you deal on a regular basis of getting up at ridiculous hours to watch those games? I mean, some of them must be like 2-3 in the morning.
Seriously, man, that's a question we get a lot over the years. The latest, I mean, and we are mad. Like, we watch 95% of them. There's 34 games in a season, and we watch a good 30 of them for sure. I mean, the latest we've stayed up, obviously, the States is a massive country, so I'm lucky really that I support a team on the East Coast because it's only a 5-hour difference to the UK. If I supported someone like LA Galaxy, it's an 8-hour difference. You know, you'd be watching regularly, like at 2-3 in the morning. So the latest I've stayed up is an away game when we played Vancouver in Canada. And I genuinely remember doing a live blog, so tweeting, doing a play-by-play commentary. And it was genuinely light outside. The birds were tweeting after. And I went to work after, finished about like 6 a.m. So, like I said, if you're into Major League Soccer, like it's unique. You know, the late nights come as part of the package. And you definitely need a few coffees and Red Bulls to stay up, that's for sure. Yeah, because
I know it's split into East and West, but I bet there's some long old away days for those players.
Yeah.
Do you have, I suppose you think of bad away days in the Premier League, like you've got your Burnleys and Stokes, for example. Is there like an MLS equivalent, like couldn't do it on a cold Tuesday in New York or something?
Well, you know what? That's a really good question, actually, because something people don't give Major League Soccer credit for is just the size of America. And, you know, they fly commercials, they go on planes everywhere, you know. If they went on coaches, they'd never make it. So they go on planes everywhere. But there's all different kinds of places in the States. Like, one of the toughest venues for the Stoke of MLS, right, is Colorado. So the Mile High City. So you genuinely, their home game with Colorado Rapids, who, let's not mention them because they're Stan Kroenke's team. You know,
don't, mate. Don't say his name.
That's another reason to hate the Colorado Rapids if you're an Arsenal fan. But they play at a mile high because they're in the Rocky Mountains. So you've got all these different kinds of things to contend with. So you're doing long distance, then you're playing at a mile high. You can be in Canada like in winter where it's freezing. Believe me, I've gone to Toronto FC games and in like -15, and it's too to watch football, man, let alone play. Then there's Florida where my team plays, you know, and it can be boiling heat in the days. So we've interviewed ex-players and stuff before, and they've said, you know, who have come from England. Luke Bowden, who used to be at Sheffield Wednesday, played for Orlando City, and he told me on a pod we did, he was like, you think you're fit playing in England? He was like, you come over to Major League Soccer and think it's a walk in the park. You've got to be so fit to cope with everything. Yeah. You know, just the mental psychology of traveling long distances and then having to put in performances. It's tough, you know. So I think you've seen it, you know, like people like Stevie G, everyone thought he was going to smash it. And I think he found it tough at Galaxy when he was over there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, him, Lampard, you just see these players who've had great careers go over there, and everyone from England, I suppose, who's not knowledgeable of the MLS, just assumes they're going over there for a nice, easy payday. But
yeah, paycheck.
they go over there and they don't really perform.
No,
a lot of them.
Thierry Henry did.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get on. Yeah, so if we go through some, as I always knew you at school, Taylor, as a bit of like you were known as like an encyclopedia of players. You just knew every single footballer there was on earth. It was ridiculous. Like you knew every member of the bloody Finland squad. Like at the age of 15, it was mad. So yeah, what I wanted to ask you, if you could just chuck some names at us of like any MLS legends we wouldn't remember.
Yeah, listen, there is lots. I'm
thinking of like Alexi Lalas back in the day with his massive ginger locks.
Yeah, God, where do we begin? So I mean, I'm going to start with recent years because they're the ones that come to my head quicker. So New York City FC is a team, UK fans probably would have heard about. They're another half rival of ours, and they had Frank Lampard, didn't they, a few years ago? David Villa and Andrea Pirlo. They had all three of them in one team. So I was saying about the designated player rule. They had all of them three on mega money, and it didn't work essentially. David Villa was amazing, but the other two not so much. As for Orlando City, Kaká, obviously, what a player. When we met him in the tunnel, because we had a stadium tour, and I was with my partner, and she tapped me on the shoulder. She was like, "Kaká's there," and I was like, "Nah." Turn around, and it was just. And he had so much time for you as well. Like you've mentioned it, one of the best players that's ever played the game. But seriously, like model professional, and he was staying, signing autographs. He didn't run off or anything. Just top bloke. So we had him. Going back in the day, I mean, you mentioned Landon Donovan. Like he was the leading right out of MLS for a long time. Went to Everton, didn't he, years ago? There's been lots and lots and lots, and it all depends on their attitude, as you said. Some go over there, like the American lifestyle, end of their career, it's a payday, and then there's been others like Nani, Thierry Henry, really seen it as an opportunity to.
Zlatan, he smashed it over there, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure you'll remember your old Arsenal teenage protege, Carlos Vela.
Yeah. I mean, Carlos Vela really is the number one player in the league right now. I mean, I remember him at Arsenal years ago when he was like just breaking through. He was a scary talent, like never quite did it in the Premier League, but he's at Los Angeles FC now, and he's the best player in the league for sure.
Do you think
this might be a bit before my time? I was going to say with him.
Yeah, you must remember him.
I don't remember him at all.
Yeah.
He was like the linchpin for the US national team for quite a while, wasn't he? Him and
we're talking. I was going to say, we're talking Dempsey times as well. Is that what
definitely around that era.
Yeah, I think the thing to say as well with Major League Soccer and players and personnel is that just look at some of the players in over the last couple of years that have come out of the league as well. So I've got 4 names. And I think we're going to see more and more. So we're talking about the players that come into the league, but the ones going out, Zach Steffen at Man City, who's their step goalie. He come from Columbus Crew last year. Jack Harrison, who smashed it at Leeds last season, loads of goals, loads of assists. He come from New York City. He's an English guy.
I had no idea about that. I thought he was just on loan from City.
Yeah, no. So Jack Harrison.
He nabbed him from there, did he?
Yeah, so New York City, he came from part of Man City's group. And then obviously the big two, everyone who's an MLS fan talks about the big two, and that's Miguel Almiron, who's the league record, 27 million to Newcastle, who's done very well. He's an exciting player at Newcastle. But the main man, the best MLS export so far is arguably one of the best left-backs in world football, Alphonso Davies at Bayern Munich.
Oh, yeah.
Rags to riches story, honestly. Like, if anyone don't know his full story about where he come from and where he is now, go check it out. But he come from the Vancouver Whitecaps for about 13 million, I think it was, and he's just gone like that. I mean, he's a super player.
I mean, he's probably I would probably put him up there as the second best left back in the world after Andy Robertson.
You're so deluded.
Last season.
But yeah, he's some talent, and he's done very well from his backstory and how
he's quite young still, isn't he?
He's about 21, isn't he?
21, 22, not too
old. I remember he was going viral last year when Bayern won the Champions League. All the videos he was taking and everything.
Did he come through
seemed
like
a very humble guy?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say, did he come through like a college program and stuff like that?
Yeah, so Alphonso Davies, he is the story because he was a homegrown talent from Vancouver Whitecaps. So his family fled Liberia in Africa, grew up in Canada,
Wow.
and he just, made his name playing soccer. And he used to be a winger. I mean, Bayern Munich had turned him into a left back, but I remember he played Orlando City a few years ago, and he was genuinely only 17, and he absolutely tore us a new one at 17 years old. And you could tell, I was like, this guy is destined to, go on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, and he certainly has, to be fair to him.
Yeah, I don't think he's thought twice about that since, has he?
No. Right, so I'm sure you've been waiting. Sure, this guy is. Everyone's been waiting to talk about this guy, but you can't bring up MLS without talking about David Beckham. So,
yeah.
I don't know if you bring a photo up, Miller.
Yeah, we'll do. Bear with me.
So obviously, Beck's as a player went over to MLS, grew it massively in stature, recognition.
Yeah.
Played. I think he's good. I can't really remember how he played over there. I assume it was good. And now he's coming back with his own club. So first of all, first question: how was it viewed? I don't know if he was into MLS as much back then, but how was it viewed over that side in his playing days compared to how it's viewed now? Because I kind of get the impression that, like, the English media seem to love the fact he's bought a club over in the MLS, and they're loving what he's doing. They can't stop talking about him, and the fact he's hired his mate Phil Neville to be manager.
So how's that allowed?
Well, it's his club, isn't it? He can hire who he wants.
But like they weren't when he's involved in that other one, wasn't he? With his brother as well, wasn't he?
Oh, Salford, yeah.
Yeah, so he's like an owner of another club, head coach of another.
Yeah, but I kind of get the impression he's not very well received in the MLS league as compared to when he was a player.
Yeah. Well, listen, with Beckham, right? So it's an interesting one for me because I'm a massive Orlando City supporter. So he owns the club that are our Florida rivals. So there's a bit of animosity there. But personally, I've got nothing to get. I've always liked David Beckham throughout my career, even though he was a Man United player when Arsenal and Man United were going head to head every year. I quite like David Beckham, the person, the brand, just unfortunate that he's the owner of the club that, is our rivals now. But what I'll say about kind of how he was perceived back then, how he was perceived now, he went over there, he did smash it. Like, the master of free kicks, weren't he? You can go on YouTube and see so many videos of him, like, just putting MLS sides away. And when he joined, the league, the league's come on leaps and bounds since when he was over there, like, the levels weren't anything like they are now. But obviously, he did so much for the game. He, created the designated player rule. When he went to Galaxy and retired, the league themselves, and this is where it's a bit different from the Premier League, but the league themselves, he did so much for the game over there that the league said to him, you can establish a club of your own in an American city of your own. It was something they did for him. And he chose Miami, of course. If you've never been there, Miami's an insane city. Got to go.
It is one place I've always wanted to go.
It's a fantastic city. But he set up shop there, so he established his team there, and it got spoken about for years and years and years, and it looked like it was never going to happen. Like, their first season was last season, so they're in their second season now, and it looked like it was never going to happen. What I will say, and all my Orlando City supporters will love this, is that this team's an Inter Miami, crap name to start with.
Look at the badge.
Yeah, when they announced it, I thought he was just making up a five-a-side team or something like that.
Yeah, the name, is similar to Inter Milan. They've had lawsuits over that they've had to wrangle. The badge, it's a homage to like flamingos, herons down there, right? That's a mess. But honestly, on the field is what every football fan cares about. This team just about made playoffs last season when it was expanded because of COVID. This team this season has hired his mate Phil Neville because nobody else wanted to touch it with a barge pole. Only last week, Blaise Matuidi, World Cup winner, someone you guys will know, who went over there as a big signing last summer. I've told you about the 3 designated player rule. They signed him and he wasn't a DP, which I was thinking like, well, how the hell is that possible?
mad.
He's a mega player come from Juventus. Last week it was found out in the news that they breached the rule. So Beckham, who knows the league so well, their club, they cheated essentially. And they had 4 designated players on the roster, which...
He's broke a rule that's named after him.
Yeah.
They broke the rule that's named after him, essentially. So Inter Miami as a club have been a car crash.
So would they get... breaching that, would they get like a punishment? Would they get points deducted, fine, or...
Yeah, they've received punishments already. So they've been fined millions of pounds, probably not a lot to Beckham and the other people that own Inter Miami, but they have received fines. As an Orlando City supporter, I wanted to see him docked points.
That's such a cop-out, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, hit him where it hurts. Like, I would have docked him points. But honestly, like I said, it's early days in MLS for Inter Miami, but they've been a bit of a car crash so far.
It sounds like a bit of a rocky start, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they've also got Gonzalo Higuain. There's another name as their...
Yeah, I was going to say about him. I tried to have a look at some of the designated players on Wikipedia before this. Yeah. And there's some interesting names I didn't realise were playing over there, like Higuain.
How is Higuain now?
About 30-ish.
Yeah, Javier Hernandez is doing bits over there, isn't he?
Yeah, Javier Hernandez is poor last season, but he's ripping it up for Galaxy this season.
Little P.
Yeah. Ryan Shawcross plays for another bloke I hate as an Arsenal supporter. Ryan Shawcross plays for Inter Miami as well, so it's another reason to hate him.
It's one player you never thought you'd be playing in America, is it?
How the hell did he get that move? How did he ever get that?
Lads, I always have visions of Ryan Shawcross and Phil Neville strutting out down in Miami, and I can't envisage it. Like, what
a combination on a night out. Phil Neville and Shawcross. Oh my god. Right. Also, I was going to talk about the kits, actually. The kits you get in America. So I think Scotty, who was former co-host, I'll say now, asked me to bring this up because there's just something about the kits in America that just seem to be so much nicer than what we get over here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've got any examples there, Miller.
No, I haven't got any examples, but hold on a minute. Let me have a little look.
I've got one here. I'll hold up to my camera.
Yeah, do that.
So I think this was the latest Orlando Pride one. I don't know if people can see that very well.
Yeah, that's our latest Orlando City one.
It's like I think it's really nice. It's like a little blue and light blue, dark blue mixture with orange trim, Adidas on the sleeves.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can grab one. Hold on, boys. But yeah, go on. Carry on.
Yeah, we wore it at the weekend. That was a one-off one, actually. It was promoting it's made from like ocean plastic. It was like a one-off promotion. That was really nice. But I mean, I collect them all. I love all of them. And ever since the start, when MLS started, the kits were made by Nike. But for years and years and years now, every single club, the league has an exclusivity deal with Adidas. So every kit is from Adidas. And I don't know about you, but for me, they make the best kits.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that, to be fair. I used to love it when Liverpool were Adidas back in the day.
Yeah. Some people say, they're all a bit samey. They look the same. But personally, I really like them every year. Yeah,
but they do seem to have nicer kits. Have you got any classic kits you can think of for any of the teams, really, just so we can have a little look out for?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, there's a couple, besides my team, Orlando City, there's a couple this season that have got a bit of a theme with them as well. If you Google Seattle Sounders away jersey 2021, that's inspired by Jimi Hendrix. That one.
Jimi Hendrix? That's so random.
It's amazing. Honestly, that kit is amazing.
Oh, I'll have to check that one out.
So I've got yours up here. Is there a reason for the colouring?
Yeah, so with the purples, interesting. So Orlando City was originally a team based in Austin, Texas, and relocated to Orlando in 2011. And the reason we was a red and white striped team originally, but we changed to purple when we went to Orlando. And they couldn't actually produce enough purple for the team. That the kit suppliers didn't have enough purple back then. But I really
what?
They didn't have enough to produce it because it's a bit of a rare colour, isn't it? I mean, you think worldwide,
there's not many. Yeah, now you say it.
Yeah, I think Fiorentina and Alex, but other than that, like that's why I like.
Manchester United.
Yeah, Harchester United on Dream Team. Yeah, that's cool.
Armentry playing purple, mate. Sunday League legend.
But I really like the colour because everyone knows it's Orlando City because there's not too many teams playing it.
Yeah, it's definitely stand out, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, have you got that's my questions done for MLS anyway. I don't know if there's anything you want to touch on, Miller.
No, just like you said, I think you've touched on how you got onto it and everything like that. So going back to like you're running your fan channel and everything like that, do you want to talk a bit more about that and the strain it has? Is there many of you involved in that, or?
Yeah, so yeah, glad you asked really because with Orlando City UK, so obviously we're a Twitter account, we've got our own website and YouTube, but the thing that makes us different is that we've got our own membership packs. So we've got nearly 60 members over the 5 years we've been about. Who you know, once they sign up online, they get a membership pack. So there's a T-shirt in there, a magnet, a letter, a few bits like that, you know, that we post out to people so they can feel a bit more part of the club. And we've not done one in a while because I've been in Canada and COVID and what have you. But we used to do watch parties. So when there was a game that was on early, when we played Red Bulls this weekend just gone, that was 6 p.m. English time, which was nice. But we've done a few watch parties as well, and it's great because you get to meet people from Twitter, you know, like strangers essentially, but you know, they've got the same interest in Orlando City, and it's just great meeting people from all four corners of the country. So we've met some great people since we've opened the account, both here in England as members and in the States.
I was going to say, it's mad, isn't it? Yeah.
Your watch parties. So that's like, could you explain to us what your watch parties were? Because it was like before COVID times, really. So it's like, well, you guys, if I remember rightly, you guys go to like, you meet up somewhere in London, for example, and go through like in a pub, you drink and watch the game. Is that right?
That's it, yeah. So they're really fun to do, and we can't wait to do them. Hopefully get one in before the year's out. But we, our base so far has been just across from King's Cross on Euston Road, pub called the Euston Flyer.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, those guys have been good to us over the years, and we've kind of had like a designated area in there, a TV, and you know, we just watched the Orlando City game, and honestly, like it's been amazing because there's been some of our members have come down from like Sunderland, Swindon, Bristol, like you name it. They've come from all over the country just to watch 90 minutes, like with us, like. So you know, we would
that's passion there, isn't it?
There's passion, yeah. Like they're definitely committed. I mean, you got to be committed to follow Orlando City anyway. So our guys, you know, they're definitely passionate about what they do.
Maybe we'll have to get down to one sometime.
More the merrier, mate. Yeah.
So
join the Purple Army.
You know.
So let's go to your first love, shall we say? Off MLS back to Premier League. And
this is where it takes a turn.
Yeah. Do you want to take the lead with this one, Miller? Or so, what is there to talk about Arsenal at the moment? Obviously, you said you and your dad had season tickets, so I assume you started supporting them through your dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you making of the current Arsenal squad, where it's going, the manager?
I mean, listen, like we could do a whole pod on Arsenal, but I mean, I've been thinking about this all day before I come on, and the way I sum Arsenal-ness up at the moment is we're there, you know, watching rumours come through on Instagram, Twitter, you know, Sky Sports News, you name it. We're scraping around to sign Norwich City's best player, a player from the Championship. We're scraping around to sign Brighton's best player, a team that's not a Premier League team. That is how far. That's how excited we're meant to be right now. That's how far my club has fallen. I don't even think we'll pull them deals off. That's how far my club has fallen.
Well, I was going to say their current clubs are probably more exciting and more, you know, have a long-term plan in place than Arsenal. So why would you realistically leave a Brighton to go to Arsenal other than for money?
Seriously, like that's the thing right now. I mean, we're being linked to everyone under the sun. Silly season's back. Everyone's saying Arsenal have got that pulling power, which, you know, we're a massive club still. Like, you know, a few bad years doesn't change that overnight. But like you're saying, Sam, like, I don't think Arsenal is a great proposition for any player at the moment, the way it's being run. You know, Kroenke out, Arteta out is everything I feel, in short, but, you know.
Really? So yeah, I was going to say, so obviously there's a lot of movement online, isn't it, with the Kroenke out protests, and obviously not so much for Arteta as much, which I find surprising, because me personally, I would like to see him gone. Is that where you stand as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say on the protest, actually, you went, Sam, didn't you, down to the protest?
Yeah. So I went to the protest with Den and Danny and a couple of other gooners as well. And do you know what was surprising to see? But also, I'll touch on another point after, is that how many people were actually there for that first protest? There was a lot of anger. There was a lot of, you know, hatred towards Kroenke, and you could really feel it.
Yeah.
And it was good to see, because, you know how things start on Twitter. You never know how big they're going to be. Arsenal's always been the Mickey Mouse team, innit? We always talk a lot on Twitter, but we never back it up with anything. Yeah. So then you fast forward a couple of weeks, and you know, it's the movement's starting to die.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing I'm worried about. You see, like that first protest, the one you went to, like it was hot off the back of the Super League, and it was going to be more well attended. But I think the thing as Arsenal supporters, we can't lose sight of. Nothing's going to change for as long as Stan Kroenke's at this club. I mean, he's had 10 years, and what's he done? You know, like I think if he turned up in England, he'd have to ask what colour shirt does Arsenal wear. Seriously, I mean, the bloke, it is a business. Like we've spoke about this before. You don't need me to tell you all of this, but I think the thing we need to all do is when we get a chance to protest, is to continue do this. Like we got to hound the guy out. I mean, we could go and protest over every home game next season when there's hopefully fans back in stadiums. He still probably wouldn't move. These owners are bulletproof. They're only bothered about money. The only thing I hope from the Europa League, which was absolutely gutting a couple of weeks ago, the only thing I hoped is that because we've got no windfall from European football now, that it might have pushed him out. But
no money in his pocket. How is he perceived in the American game? Because obviously, you know, with his American football and stuff like that in general, does he own a soccer team, or does he just own an American football team?
He owns a few. So he owns the LA Rams in NFL. Football. He owns Colorado Rapids, who we were speaking about in MLS.
Yes, that's it.
He owns Arsenal, and it's interesting you ask because the LA Rams got to the Super Bowl a couple years ago. Yeah. But all the fans of those clubs say the same thing about Stan Kroenke that we do. He never shows up. So he's one of these owners who's not invested, you know, never shows up, never really spends big money. And it's just something he owns, and there's no care or nurturing of it. So, I mean, he's poison, really. And it just kills me to say, and you'll be the same, Sam. Like, the thing with Arsenal is that I'm 30 years old, and like the stuff we used to watch and the caliber of players that we used to see, and we're like scraping around Norwich City's best player. Admittedly, I think Buendia would be a good signing, but we're scraping around for players of that caliber now. It just shows you how far this club's fallen.
You want big names. You want big names at the end of the day.
Can you imagine though? Like touching on that now, you know, potentially, you know, like our kids and you know the children that are growing up now, young adults to be, where we'll be in 10 years time or something like that. Let's be honest, growing up it was either Arsenal, United, and potentially Liverpool as well. You were late bloomers, weren't you? But then now you're obviously you've won a couple cups and stuff like that, and you've won the biggest trophies in the game now. But you're not going to get that pull anymore, are you? Let's be honest. It's literally we're a dying breed.
Yeah, because I think with Arsenal you have a lot of competition in your area, don't you? Because you have so many London clubs. Yeah. With the likes of the Manchester clubs, your Liverpools, there's not as many clubs in that area, so they're always going to be big. But at least when you was growing up, you had Arsenal being successful. You had players like Bergkamp, Henry, who were so enjoyable to watch. You support those teams because you want to watch those fantastic players and a team that's successful. You don't want to go watch Fulham with Barry Hales up top, do you know what I mean? Or Andre Flo at Chelsea. So that's why I think you like obviously Arsenal around our era had a massive draw. In terms of pulling future fans, whereas nowadays, who have you got really?
I mean the player
maybe, but I was
going to say the player right now. I mean, everyone wants him who would turn us around. my partner, Lee will know, my partner's a massive Aston Villa fan. You know, Jack Grealish would be the player. I mean, everyone wants him, and he's only going to shine at the Euros, and United and City want him. But it's a pipe dream. Arsenal can't pull him. We're not going to spend that money. But if we could get a player like that to try and rebuild our project, you know, he would be the man who I would go for. But we're not going to see it under this ownership.
Is your partner watching this? Is your partner watching this at the moment?
She might be next door. Like,
hi, Christy, if you're there. Grealish is staying. You'll be safe.
Yeah, I mean, the banter's not been good in our house this year. I mean, they beat us twice. I've not been very happy.
Quite comfortably both times, wasn't it?
4-0 on aggregate. Like,
yeah.
Beat us 7-2. So.
No, but I think you're right, though. I think that, I mean, I don't think he's going to invest. I completely agree with you. But potentially, let's be real, there's an opportunity here for him to actually, I know we say it every year, but to show that he cares, to show that what he can do. And to be honest with you, to relieve a little bit of the pressure on himself. I mean, okay, fair enough. It seems like Arteta's going to be his man. Fair enough, that's fine. But then if he gives him some money, then maybe, I mean, let's be honest, we probably deserve to be
where we are.
Yeah. We're not a top 6 club. We're not a top 8 club. Let's be honest, we are where we are. I mean, the only saving grace is potentially, you know, with our rivals across the road, Spurs losing Kane, they could fall as well. But but look how they react. They're potentially getting a world-class manager.
Conte, yeah. I know, I was doing that. And this is the thing, you see. I mean, for years and years and years, we didn't worry about silly old Tottenham. You know, like, for the last 8 years, you know, it's been, you know, an arms race between us and them, you know, and really, like, coming out of 2021, it's like no one's got any bragging rights in London. We're both.
It's like a competition of who's the shittest, because not really. Neither of you are doing well.
Genuinely,
so you just don't want to be the worst one.
No, and that's what.
But yeah, I think we talked about Conte on the podcast we did yesterday, and it's I think a comment I agreed with is if Conte goes Spurs, they're going to have the best manager in London, unfortunately.
Well, arguably, that's the thing, you know.
Yeah,
he's got some pedigree, isn't he? What's he won? He's won quite.
Yeah.
He won.
He's won a lot. He's won a few leagues.
With Chelsea.
He's won the Premier League, FA Cup.
Has he ever won the Champions League?
I don't know. I don't think he has. He won it as a player, obviously, but I don't know if you think he's won it as a manager. I think did he manage Juventus? Did he manage Juventus?
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah, my memory's not too good.
No, I've faded a little bit. Old age. I think I'm getting ours on.
You know what? Some shoots of recovery with Arsenal. I mean, I could go on for the next 50 minutes being negative about Arsenal, but some positive things like Bukayo Saka, Smith Rowe. You know, like. It should have been on those guys last season to lead the team, but those guys, you know, 19, 20, they led by example. They're only going to get better. Another one, like Arsenal put it up in the week. They put up Nicola Pepe's goal-scoring reel from the season. And Pepe's someone that, you know, he's really frustrated me. He's been like the second coming of Theo Walcott since he's been at Arsenal. But I looked back at the reel and genuinely, I think if Guardiola or like a proper manager put his arm around Nicola Pepe, he'd be one of the top 5 players in the league. I swear to God, that guy is so talented. And
I agree with you.
Play him every week this season. He has to, because dropping him in and out, he's a confidence player. Like I genuinely want to see Nicola Pepe. We've not got European football next season. We've not even got that nonsense, the Conference League. So we're going to have a clear run at the league. And I think
give him a go. Who else you got there?
No one. But realistically, touching on your comment though quickly about the young guns and stuff like that, a top team does not rely on academy graduates coming into their first year and smashing it. I mean, the only business that we have done last year is actually tying Saka down to a longer contract. But again, it's written in it. City are going to come in. Your Liverpool.
You might get one. You might get one or two that you have to rely on.
Yeah.
But not like as many as you boys have. Like we had Trent come in when he came in. We had to rely on him when he was however old, 18, 19. Like obviously United bought Rashford in, didn't they? There's always going to be a couple youngsters you have to rely on, I think.
But this is
not a bad thing, but you just shouldn't have loads of them.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Alan Hansen always said you never win anything with kids.
Yeah,
I know
but
he got proven wrong maybe once, but
Yeah, but I mean, you can reverse it as well, though. Like, so this with Arteta, I don't understand his logic in this. All right, fair enough. We needed a creative midfielder, and so we brought in. I'm going to do a Den, but you know, an Odegaard or Odegaard, whatever you want to call it. That pushed Smith Rowe out wide to the left. So I don't know. But now we've seen him. He's gone back now. He ain't coming. We're not going to obviously attract him. So it just defies the point of bringing these players in.
The thing with Arsenal at the moment is that Arteta's learning on the job, and he shouldn't be learning on the job at a club the size of Arsenal Football Club. It just should not happen. And I've got nothing against Arteta. Like, he's a good player for Arsenal when he played.
He was a good captain for us, wasn't he?
He captained us before, but he's not a club legend. He's not a club legend. Like, I like the guy, but I just feel that he's out of his depth, and he got schooled by Unai Emery, which was how embarrassing was that? A guy that was deemed not to be good enough, he schooled him over 2 legs. Which, you know,
I really admire the way Emery held that, though. You know, he didn't really rub it in. Yeah, he celebrated the goal and stuff like that, but it just shows his class. And I think that's the thing we've lost now. I think we are such a unclassy team. Yeah. You know, in absolutely everything we do, you know, we'll go sack the all the administrating staff and stuff like that, whack them all on furlough, but yet we'll sign up to a Super League.
Gunnosaurus, he went as well.
Yeah, I forget.
Gunnosaurus.
That was the last straw.
I was ready to get out there and start protesting about that, mate.
Honestly. But then again, I think realistically, I think they've got a perfect excuse though, these owners, with going forward and saying about the market and COVID and stuff like that. So it wouldn't surprise me if, you know, we get another loanee, probably get Martin Odegaard back again if we can get him on loan, and then that'll keep us all quiet. And I don't like that.
Yeah. Well, for years,
you know, think it's going to be another tough season ahead for you boys, then, isn't it?
I think we'll fall further.
I don't think you'd be foolish to say that. I mean, the only thing, I'm going to try and do a bit of positivity here. I mean, we've been, you know, like we've been trying to cover gaping wounds with plasters for years, like being in the Europa League, you know, just about staying relevant. Maybe being out of all European competition is the hard reset this club needs. I'd be more confident about saying that, but I'm just not so confident in Arteta and, you know, the way the club's being run. We have to get Bissouma. We have to get Buendia. I really want to see the club get Max Aarons as well. Like, I love Bellerin as an actual guy, but I think Bellerin's time's done as well. I was going to
say touch on Bellerin, but
he would be a good young signing.
Is there any other players that you would like to see leave?
Yeah, I mean, Lacazette and Aubameyang, what do you do with them two? Personally, I don't think we can get better than them, so I keep them both. But I know it's a topic that Arsenal fans are a bit split on at the moment. It's
a touchy one, isn't it? It's a soft subject because obviously Lacazette this year has been a shining light, and Aubameyang's been our leader for the last couple of years. Obviously, this season has been shit.
You Aubameyang, he's world class. He always has been, but he's had one bad season. You know, do you stick with him and hope he turns it back on next year?
Well, one thing, do you know what I wanted? The first thing Arsenal should do this summer, and you've just reminded me, Lee, take the captaincy off Aubameyang, let him play with freedom again, give it to Kieran Tierney. He is a leader. That's what I want Arsenal to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. Do you think they would? Do you think they'd have the balls to do that though? Arteta has a because I think we're like one of these clubs, aren't we? That we have like a captaincy circle or something, whatever you want to call it.
We don't have one guy.
Oh dear. I was going to say at Liverpool, they other than Henderson and Milner, they let the players vote who they want to be captain.
No way, do they?
Yeah, so that's how. I think that's how Virgil van Dijk ended up as like after when Henderson and Milner's not playing, he's the captain, and then Wijnaldum and now before he's gone.
Yeah, but no one moans about it when you're winning games. Do you know what I mean?
No. Yeah. It all depends how you do it, innit? Like, I get that, you know, if you go to Ober and say, look, we're going to give the captaincy to Kieran Tierney, he might take it the wrong way, but it all depends how you do it. You could put your arm around him and say, look, Ober, you know, like, you've got a poor season. You know that, you know, like, we want you to play with freedom.
Depends how much of a dickhead the player is, really. It's happened in the past.
He should be professional. He should
be biggest similarity I can see with that is with Liverpool when Steven Gerrard come on the scene. I think Houllier made him the captain. It was originally Sami Hyypiä, He took the armband off Hoopier, gave it to Gerrard. No fuss from Hoopier. He got on with He just got on with it. Gerrard obviously went on to have a great career. And obviously Tierney's got a similar, what I would say, attitude to the likes of Gerrard. You know,
do you not think he's too young though?
Kieran Tierney. I mean,
what do you think with that strip for leaders?
What is he? How old is he? 22, 23?
23.
I said, well, if he is 24, there's no reason why he shouldn't be captain.
Or if you think you think you're good enough, you're old enough.
Good enough, you're old enough, yeah.
I think so. I mean, his injury record needs to get a bit better. Like,
yeah.
I mean, for me, if he has a full season, he's one of the best left backs, if not the best left back in the Premier League.
I want to quickly touch on as well while we got you. What is your thoughts on? Have you heard about this this goalkeeper transfer situation that we might have going on?
Oh, Nana from Ajax.
Yeah, and potentially, yeah. So obviously Ryan's gone back. I didn't think he was a bad player. I would have liked to have kept him, especially if it was on a free. It makes no difference to all of us. But so if this guy doesn't get done for his doping scandal, we'll sign him. Is that right?
Yeah, it's not like Arsenal to go after someone that has got a doping scandal over his head.
Oh, that's crazy, isn't it?
Those doping scandals are weird because a lot of the time they're just taking fat burners. I remember the Mamadou Sakho one. And that he didn't go down well with Liverpool. That one, he got found guilty, and in the end he got cleared a few years later. Yeah, he appealed it for years, and that was effectively part of the reason why his Liverpool career ended, because he fell out with Klopp.
Yeah,
during training, or during a media conference, but I think that played a big part in it. He could get cleared years later off that. It's weird, open things.
Go ahead.
Sam. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because we all scroll through our phones, in the day, and that one looks like there's a bit more weight behind that rumor. It looks like it might actually happen, which is interesting because obviously we got rid of Emi Martinez last summer because Leno was the guy, and I think Leno's a good goalkeeper. He's had his moments this season, but I wouldn't have thought a goalkeeper would be one of our priorities heading into this summer. He's a good goalie though. Don't get me wrong, he is a good goalie, but I don't know.
I think he might want. I think Leno might have said he wants to go.
Yeah, I think that's what I've heard as well.
There's plenty of rumours that he wants Champions League football, and he's not going to get that at Arsenal. And to be honest, I don't think you boys would be that bothered if you left him.
I don't think so. And the thing with this Onana, I think they're only saying 6-7 million because of this open thing and because of his contract and that. So to be honest with you, he's a young goalie. He's 25, full Cameroon international. Maybe
he's done well at Ajax as well. He's part of their big Champions League run, wasn't he?
Yeah, Champions League, played World Cup qualifiers, stuff like that. So he would be a good replacement if Leno wants out. But I hope, I don't know on Leno. I don't know whether I want him to stay or go, to be honest with you.
I don't think people are really I wouldn't have thought Arsenal fans are that bothered because he's a good goalkeeper, but he's not world class and he's not terrible.
I think with him, I agree, but I think he thinks he's elite. And that's what winds me up.
Yeah. It's probably all that time he's spending on the sub bench in the Germany squad, isn't it? He's not going to get in front of Neuer, but he's surrounded by world-class players.
Yeah, you got all these people.
Maybe they're turning his head a little bit.
Who's the player you want more than anyone this summer, Sam? It doesn't have to be realistic. Who's the player you want to see?
I would have liked. I can't name you on it top of my head, but I mean, the main priority is obviously a centre half.
It always seems to be, doesn't it?
Yeah, I agree. It's just we need that is the main priority. Do you know what? And it's going to sound crazy, but I cannot believe that we've actually not given Luiz another year. He's been our best centre half for the last 2 years. And Rob Holding is nicking a fucking living.
Rob Holding's had captaincy over the last 2 years. Work that one out.
Why don't you get Ozan Kabak?
Steady.
I think he's going Leicester, to be fair.
Yeah, but we've also got the young lads to come back. Everyone's raving about that Saliba. I want to see what he can do.
I want to see Saliba, yeah.
Then you've got Mavropanos, haven't you? He's done quite well. He has never really been given a chance.
Gabriel will get better. I like Gabriel at the beginning of last season, but he's finding his way.
Yeah, no, I think
I thought he tailed off personally. I thought he got a bit found out towards the end of the season. He started brilliantly, but I thought he had quite a few errors as the season went on.
Yeah,
he's young. He can get better.
Yeah, I think you're right, Sam. Centre back. Arsenal always need a centre back. I don't know when we're going to solve it, but we always need a centre back.
If you want to be a successful team, you've got to have a strong spine. That's where
100%.
You start with centre backs, your centre mids.
We haven't really gone out there and ever spent money on a centre back. I think our most expensive centre back to date was Mustafi at 35.
Yeah, from Valencia. Yeah.
That just says it all, doesn't it? Says it absolutely all. I mean, I can't name any at the top of my head that are available. Let's be real, but there's got to be someone.
Nathan
Okay, could we? Would he come? We wouldn't be able to get him, though.
He's probably being paid stupid money at Man City.
Apparently, he's been linked with Spurs, but
well, then he's obviously an idiot. But so with the we had a perfect opportunity last year. I heard to get John Stones, and we were arguing about a couple of £1 million. Look how well John Stones has performed this year.
Yeah, it would have been a great signing.
It would have just, like I said, I'm not an Arteta fan, but Arteta's someone that would have worked with him closely over the last few years as well. You know? I think we missed a trick with that one, and that's the thing of the Kroenke era. Every transfer window is more painful to endure than if you support another club, because no one seems to haggle over a couple of million like Arsenal. Remember Lee? Yeah, what are they smoking at the Emirates? The
40 million and £1. Yeah.
You know, I mean, that was under the Kroenke era. You know, so what should Arsenal fans? We don't expect nothing, and then you can't be disappointed.
But I think they're getting away with that, though. They're getting away with lowering the expectation year by year by year by year by year. And it's just when is the actual level point? You know, when do we actually stop this and go, fuck this? Because I like it what you did a couple of years ago, Lee, with your ticket prices. You all fucked off, didn't you?
Yeah.
And they listened to you. But the problem is, I don't know how. Maybe next year we might not be. But we're because we're in the core of London, we get all the tourists in, you know, stuff like that. So there's always someone else buying the ticket, and it's just never going to affect them.
Going to want to. On the waiting list, there's always going to be someone to walk in there, and I think that's the problem we've got as a bigger club.
I'm in a couple Facebook groups for tickets, season tickets and stuff like that. Just you know, your little swaps and stuff, how you pick them up. And it's been interesting to see that a lot of people have trying to sell their season ticket or rent it out for the year going forward at about 700 quid. So that's a dip, isn't it? So surely that will hit them there.
Yeah, I mean, my old man, about 8 years ago, he gave his up because, you know, we moved away from Stevenage up to Lincoln. My old man used to pay over 1,000, you know, and that was the Wenger era when that was starting to come off the rails a bit, you know. So if, like you say, if people are trying to flog them for 700 now, the expectations of this club are going down and down, and the level of quality coming down and down and down.
We'd still probably be the third or fourth expensive, and that's mad. With only the Premier League, FA Cup, and Carling Cup to show for it. That's still do you know what I mean?
As I said, my partner earlier today, she's looking to get a Villa one for next season. You know, I had a good season, and they look like a club on the up, going the other way, and their season tickets were around 600. You know,
are they?
It puts it in perspective. I mean, I know we're there in London. You know, we are a bigger club, but you know
get that in.
I got to.
That's one for the missus.
No, but I think that's how far though. How far can we and how long can we say this? You know, Lee, let's be real. You had a couple of bad seasons before the Klopp era. You know, where mediocrity and stuff like that. But we've completely suppressed that. I think that we are now, we've fallen so far from grace, and it's embarrassing. You know, we're to the point where you look in your wardrobe and you see an Arsenal shirt and it's hanging up. And it's literally just there. I don't even take it out. I won't even wear it to the gym anymore, or anything like that at all, because it's that embarrassing.
Mate. I've got this on because I was waiting for the relief for the Euros that season to end. Mate.
But that's what I'm saying. That's more an investment now, isn't it?
It's not that we're being fickle. It's not that we're giving up on the club. It's that it hurts that much that it's I'm not going to let them bother me anymore. You know,
you're numb to the pain.
Yeah, I think our fan base, and I think a lot of Arsenal supporters, you know, and the club have allowed we're accepting it now. I think we're getting used to mediocrity.
But that's so dangerous, isn't it? Because, how we would just continue to fall. I'm not saying we're going to do a Leeds, and we're going to get a relegated and not come back for so many years and stuff like that. I think we are, be careful how I say this, I suppose, but I think we have too much history of a club for that to happen.
I think so.
But we're fucking hell. There was points last year where I really thought we were gone.
Burnley at home, when Oba scores that own goal, Xhaka gets sent off. I don't think I'm 30 years old, so I've had the good times. And I don't think I've felt as low supporting Arsenal as that night when Burnley come and did us at the Emirates.
Yeah, honestly, it's touching on Xhaka as well. You know, with it looks like he's obviously going to go.
Yeah, so Mourinho wants him at Roma, if you believe what you read in the press.
I mean, I think he'll suit that Italian league. You know, I think it's a bit slower pace of football.
He's a slow player and it's a slow league. So.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not going to bash Xhaka. Like, Xhaka was actually one of our better players last season. Like, he does divide opinion. I wouldn't miss him too much, but if you're getting rid of him this summer, he needs replacing because he was one of our more consistent guys.
He always gives you, doesn't he? 100%.
I think you definitely need a centre mid this summer, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, we've got obviously Guendouzi as well. I would love to keep Guendouzi. I would love to see him back, but I don't think he's going
to. Yeah, I think he is a talented player, and I think in years to come he'll go for a high fee. I think we're only getting rid of him for like 15 million to Marseille or something.
Just to get him out.
Just to get him out.
I mean, but if he's that talented, why is he going Marseille?
Yeah, I'm just hoping Agent Pepe gets Bissouma on board because they used to play with each other at Lille. Like, I do think Bissouma, like I said at the start of this pod, you know, like we're meant to be getting excited about Buendia and Bissouma, how far have we fallen? But honestly, on the face of it, you know, maturely, I think they are two players that, you know, could help us a lot, you know, this season.
It looks that's quite likely though with Bissouma. I don't know if you follow him on Instagram or anything. He's dropping hints like there's a few pictures every now and then, or there's something Arsenal related in the back. You know, I like that. You know, I do
before
like.
I come on tonight, literally 15 minutes before I come on here, there was a picture of Bissouma and he was in a red Lambo behind him. You know, it's the right colour. I was like, if that's a hint, I'll take it. But...
Yeah.
Sorry, our deadline day. Old Harry Redknapp pulling down his Range Rover with the latest gossip. You take anything you can.
But before we wrap it up, if you want to just tell everyone where they can find you, we'll I'll put all your socials in the description and everything like that.
Yeah. So on the bottom of the screen, as you see going along, so our Twitter account is Orlando_City UK. Get all your Orlando City news, rumours, everything there. We're on there 24/7. So we're on Twitter there. The website, if you want to sign up as a member, check us out. It's weareorlandocityuk.com, and we're Orlando City UK on YouTube as well. So yeah, like I said, pod of two halves tonight. Arsenal ran afterwards, but Major League Soccer, you know, if you're interested, you know, there's a little gap now. The Premier League's over. I know we've got the Euros, but if you're flicking through Sky Sports, check it out. It's an exciting league, and you'll see some bangers, that's for sure, in terms of goals.
No, definitely.
Yeah, hit that like button, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel as well if you haven't already. Follow Orlando City UK on Twitter. Follow Sideline Talk as well. Come follow us. I'm sure we'll be back with more pods as we go over the Euros, because football is, even though we've got no Trent anymore, which is a massive loss, football, I'm still firmly in the camp and the football's coming home.
You're actually going for it that early?
Yeah. Anyway. It's just standard every major tournament. I get the positivity no matter how shit we are. I'm still feeling positive this year. With such a good attacking squad, in my opinion. Football's coming home. Harry Kane's getting a golden boot.
Fucking hell, mate.
Foden's getting player of the tournament.
Jesus. Did you see Mount got PFA?
Oh, did he win
the young player? Yeah, he got young player of the year, which is interesting. But yeah, no, sweet. We'll wrap up. But yeah, definitely, we'll get you back on soon, hopefully, mate. Like, we'll maybe talk a bit more of the you know, the Euros. Obviously, Arsenal ahead next season, and then obviously it's coming up, haven't we? We've got the World Cup
next year.
Rolling,
boys.
Yeah. So as much as we've paid for it with you know, with the lockdowns and the postponement of football, there's still a little bit to look forward to.
There's a lot to look forward to. Yeah, that's for sure.
So thanks for coming on, Taylor. It's been an absolute pleasure, mate.
Yeah, cheers, lads. Yeah, nice coming on.
Hope you've enjoyed yourself here. I hope the view. I think our comments froze. Our comment section froze, so we weren't able to get people's comments up. during the stream. So sorry.
And
if
I've
you
had
were
an absolute
commenting.
mare with the pictures.
But this is, I think this is Sam's first time of controlling everything, and unfortunately his laptop's been a bit of a struggle.
No, it's not the laptop. It's me.
I was trying to help you out there, mate.
I know, I appreciate it, but
We'll let you off, mate. We'll let you off.
We'll let you off. It's been a good pod. He's done a good job. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.